I paid for this trip because I wanted us to breathe again, I said to Laura as I closed my laptop. We barely talk anymore. She smiled, tired but polite. I know. I appreciate it. You did not have to do all this. I wanted to, I said. I still believe we can fix things. She nodded. You always try so hard. Her words should have felt warm, but they landed heavy. I rubbed my face and leaned back. Inside, I felt worn down, like I was carrying everyone with both hands shaking. Later that night, my phone buzzed. Bro, you ready for the big family escape? Ryan texted. I laughed and called him. You sound too excited. Free food, ocean air, and your planning skills, he said. What is not to love? Thanks for helping organize things, I said. I could not have done it alone. You know I have got you, Ryan replied. Always. Those words mattered to me. Ryan was more than a cousin. He felt like a brother I chose. At dinner the next evening, Aunt Margaret raised her glass. To finally being together. Uncle Daniel nodded. And to the man who made it happen. I felt heat in my chest. It was nothing. It was not nothing, Margaret said gently. You look tired. Laura touched my arm. He barely sleeps. Daniel studied me. You take on too much responsibility. I smiled. Someone has to keep things moving. Ryan leaned over. You are the glue, man. I laughed, but something inside me tightened. Being the glue meant never falling apart. Later, Emily pulled me aside near the balcony. Are you okay? She asked quietly. I am fine, I said too fast. You say that every time. I just want this trip to go well. She looked at me for a long second. Do you want it, or do you need it? I need it to fix us, I said. Laura and me. Emily sighed. Just promise you will not blame yourself if it does not. I forced a smile. I will be fine. That night, Laura stood by the window, arms crossed. You seem distant, I said. I am just tired. So am I replied. That is why we are here. She turned to me. You think a trip can solve everything. I think effort matters, I said. I think love needs work. She said nothing, only nodded. I lay in bed later, staring at the ceiling. I told myself love meant patience, that silence was normal, that Ryan was trustworthy, that family meant safety. I ignored how Laura laughed louder around him. I ignored how he always volunteered to help her. I ignored the knot in my stomach. This is our reset, I whispered to myself. My last chance. Hope stayed with me that night, thin but alive, while something darker waited quietly ahead. I woke early the next morning and watched the sun rise over the water. Laura slept beside me, facing away. I wondered when that distance had started. Are you awake? She asked softly. Yes, I said. This trip means a lot to you. It means us, I replied. You expect too much from yourself. Someone has to care, I said. Try to relax. I will. Ryan knocked on the door. Breakfast is ready. You coming? In a minute, I answered. Laura smiled at him. We will be there. Good. When the door closed, my chest felt tight again. I told myself it was nerves, nothing more. I got dressed and followed her out, carrying hope like fragile glass. I did not know it was already cracked. Still, I walked forward, believing love was worth every risk. I whispered a promise under my breath as we joined the family. I would hold on longer, even if it hurt. I believed effort could save us. I believed this trip would change everything. I was wrong, but I did not know it yet. That truth waited quietly, patient and unseen, just beyond the edge of my hope and trust that morning. By then, breakfast felt louder than it should have. Ryan joked with everyone, and Laura laughed in a way I had not heard in months. You are in a good mood today, I said to her. She smiled. The weather helps. Ryan grinned. Or maybe my jokes are improving. You were always funny, she said. I stirred my coffee and told myself not to read into it. Ryan had always been like this. Laura had always liked humor. Nothing was wrong. Later on the beach, Emily walked beside me while the others stayed ahead. You seem quiet, she said. I am just tired. You keep saying that. It is true. Planning this trip took a lot out of me. She looked at Laura and Ryan walking close together. Are you happy? Of course I am. You did not answer my question. I stopped and faced her. I am doing what I can. That should count. Emily lowered her voice. I just want to make sure you are not hurting alone. I smiled. You worry too much. At lunch, Laura barely looked at her phone when I spoke, but she leaned in when Ryan told a story. Remember that place we went last summer? Ryan said. Laura laughed. You almost lost your wallet there. I frowned. I do not remember that. Oh, she said quickly. It was nothing. That word stayed with me. Nothing. I repeated it in my head until it felt thin. Dinner that night felt heavy. Aunt Margaret tried to keep things cheerful. "So, Laura, how is work?" "Busy," she replied, glancing at Ryan. He nodded. "Stress does that." I forced a smile. "We are managing." Uncle Daniel looked at me. "You always say that." Later, I sat beside Laura on the balcony. "Are you enjoying yourself?" I asked. "Yes." "You seem distracted." "I told you I am tired." I nodded. "Maybe I planned too much." "You put pressure on everything," she said softly. Her words hit me harder than she knew. "I just want us to be okay." "We are okay," she replied, but her voice lacked warmth. That night, I heard laughter from the hallway. Ryan's voice was clear. Laura's laugh followed. I stayed in bed and stared at the wall. I told myself couples drift sometimes. I told myself trust meant silence. I told myself not to be weak. The next day, Ryan knocked on my door. "Beach walk?" "Sure." He smiled. "You look stressed." "Just thinking about work." "You always carry too much," he said. "Let me help more." I clapped his shoulder. "I appreciate you." When we met the others, Laura stood closer to him than to me. "Ready?" Ryan asked her. "Yes," she said quickly. Emily watched me from behind. Later she whispered, "You do not have to pretend with me." "I am not pretending." She sighed. "You always think everything is your fault. If something is wrong, it probably is. That is not fair to yourself." That evening, Laura said, "Ryan understands me sometimes." I stiffened. "I understand you too." "I did not mean it like that." "Then how did you mean it?" She looked away. "You listen, but you are always trying to fix things." I stayed quiet. Maybe she was right. Maybe I talked too much about solutions. Maybe love needed silence. When I lay down later, my chest felt tight again. I replayed every smile, every laugh, every small moment that felt off. I chose not to confront it. I chose hope. This is just a phase, I told myself. Love means patience. Love means trust. In the dark, I promised myself I would try harder tomorrow. I would be calmer, quieter, better. I believed if I changed enough, the cracks would disappear. I did not see they were already spreading. I woke up because the room felt empty even though Laura was beside me. My eyes stayed open, fixed on the ceiling. My chest felt tight. "You asleep?" I whispered. She did not answer. I waited. Minutes passed. The silence grew louder. I sat up and looked at her side of the bed. It was empty. "Where did you go?" I muttered. I slipped on my shoes and stepped into the hallway. The carpet felt cold under my feet. The lights were dim, and the place felt too quiet. My heart started beating faster with every step. "You are overthinking," I told myself. Then I saw her. Laura stood outside Ryan's room. She glanced around, then knocked softly. The door opened. She stepped inside. The door closed. I stopped breathing. "No," I whispered. My hands started shaking. My stomach turned. My ears rang. I stared at the door like it might open again and explain itself. It did not. "This is nothing," I told myself. "She is probably talking." I waited. Seconds felt like hours. The door stayed closed. "Move," I ordered my legs. They did not listen. I leaned against the wall. My chest burned. "Think," I said under my breath. "There has to be a reason." I imagined knocking. I imagined yelling. I imagined asking why. None of those felt possible. My mouth was dry. My throat felt locked. After a while, I forced myself to turn away. Every step back to my room felt heavy. I closed the door quietly and sat on the bed. "You are imagining things," I said aloud. Laura did not come back for a long time. I watched the clock. Each minute hurt more than the last. When she finally returned, I closed my eyes and pretended to sleep. She slipped into bed without a word. "Good night," she whispered. I did not answer. Morning came too fast. At breakfast, Laura smiled like nothing had happened. Ryan joked like always. "Rough night?" Ryan asked me. "Did not sleep well," I said. "Same," Laura added quickly. My spoon froze in my hand. "Why?" I asked. "Just restless," she replied. I pushed my plate away and stood up. "I need air." In the lobby, a man smiled at me. "Morning, sir." "Long night." I nodded. "These walls are thin," he said. "People come and go all night." I swallowed. "Mark," he added, pointing to his name tag. "Let me know if you need anything." Later, near the elevators, Mark spoke again. "Busy floor last night. Room 12 had visitors pretty late." My heart dropped. "Yeah?" I said. "Happens a lot on trips like this," he replied casually. I walked away before he could say more. My head felt light. Room 12 was Ryan's. Back in my room, I sat on the edge of the bed. "You are wrong," I told myself. But the picture replayed again and again. Laura knocking. Laura entering. The door closing. At lunch, I barely spoke. You okay? Emily asked. Just tired, I said. Ryan leaned over. You look pale. I forced a smile. Bad sleep. Laura touched my arm. You sure you are fine? I nodded. Of course. Inside, something cracked. Trust drained out of me slowly, painfully. Say something, my mind screamed. I said nothing. That night, I stood alone on the balcony. The ocean was dark. My hands shook as I gripped the railing. This cannot be real, I whispered. But it was. I knew it. Denial felt weak. Truth felt cruel. I had paid for this trip to save us. Instead, it showed me who I was standing with. When Laura joined me, she spoke softly. You seem distant today. I met her eyes. I am just thinking. About what? Everything, I said. She nodded and looked away. In that moment, I understood something had ended. I did not scream. I did not cry. I stood there quietly while my old life slipped away. Trust was gone. Love was damaged. Something inside me broke, and I knew it would never fully heal again. That I smiled through breakfast, even though my jaw ached. You barely touched your food, Aunt Margaret said. Just not very hungry, I replied. Laura smiled at me. You should eat more. I nodded and took a bite that tasted like nothing. Ryan kept his eyes on his plate. Everything okay, man? He asked without looking up. Yeah, I said. Just tired. That word followed me everywhere. Later, by the pool, Laura laughed loudly at something Ryan said. You are impossible, she said, shaking her head. Ryan grinned. You love it. She did not deny it. I looked away and told myself to breathe. You good? Emily asked, sitting beside me. I am fine. You keep lying, she said softly. I forced a smile. It is easier that way. In the afternoon, Hannah joined us. She was an old family friend who always noticed too much. Mind if I sit? She asked. Please, I said. She watched the others for a moment. You seem quiet, she said. I shrugged. Big group. She nodded. Noise can hide a lot. Her words stayed with me. At dinner, Laura talked about plans for tomorrow like everything was normal. We should all go early, she said. Ryan nodded quickly. Sure. I stared at my glass. Daniel cleared his throat. You look distracted. Just thinking about work, I said. Laura reached for my hand. You always think too much. Her touch made my skin feel tight. Later, Hannah found me near the railing. You do not have to pretend with me, she said. I laughed quietly. I am not pretending. She met my eyes. Then you are hurting. I looked away. It will pass. She shook her head. Some things do not pass unless you face them. That night, Laura talked about the stars. Remember when we used to stay up talking? She asked. I remember, I said. You seem far away now. I am right here. She nodded but did not seem convinced. Ryan barely spoke to me all evening. When our eyes met, he looked away. What is wrong with him? Laura whispered later. I do not know, I replied. Inside, anger burned quietly. I lay awake that night replaying everything. The hallway, the door, the silence. Maybe I imagined it, I told myself. But my body knew the truth. The next morning, I laughed when everyone laughed. Good weather today, Ryan said nervously. Yeah, I replied. Perfect. Hannah walked beside me. You do not have to carry this alone, she said. There is nothing to carry. She sighed. You protect everyone, even when it hurts you. Someone has to, I said. At lunch, Laura leaned toward Ryan again. You remember that place, right? She asked him. He smiled. Of course. I clenched my hands under the table. Emily caught my eye. Her face was worried. You okay? She mouthed. I nodded. I was not okay. That evening, I stood in front of the mirror and barely recognized myself. You are weak, I whispered. No, I corrected. You are trying. Laura knocked on the door. You coming? Yeah. As we walked, she slipped her arm through mine. You are quiet lately, she said. I am thinking about us. We are fine, she replied quickly. Her certainty hurt more than doubt. At dinner, Margaret laughed. This trip was such a good idea. I smiled and nodded. Inside, I felt small. I felt replaceable. I felt foolish for believing effort could fix everything. I wanted to speak. I wanted to expose the truth. I wanted the weight gone. But I stayed silent. I chose to protect the family, even if it meant breaking myself. I smiled through every moment while something inside me collapsed. I carried the truth alone, afraid of what would happen if I let it out. Each hour tested me more than the last. I did not know how much longer I could hold it. I stood alone by the water while the rest of them slept. The waves moved in and out like steady breathing. Calm down, I told myself. Do not explode. Do not beg. When Laura came looking for me, she sounded worried. Why are you out here alone? I needed air, I said. She crossed her arms. You have been distant for days. I turned to face her. We need to talk. Her eyes shifted. About what? About you going to Ryan's room. The words hung between us. What are you talking about? She asked. I saw you, I said. Midnight. His door. She went quiet. Then she laughed nervously. You are misunderstanding. Am I? She rubbed her hands together. I could not sleep. He was awake. We talked. About what? About stress. About us. My chest tightened. So instead of talking to me, you went to him? I did not want to upset you. You upset me anyway. She stepped closer. Nothing happened. I looked at her. Do not lie to me. Her shoulders dropped. I did not plan it. It just happened. That sentence broke something. So it was an accident? I felt confused, she said. You have been distant. I have been trying, I replied. Every day? She wiped her eyes. I felt lonely. I laughed quietly. I was right there. You are always fixing things, she said. I wanted someone to listen. I nodded slowly. Ryan listens. She looked away. I did not mean to hurt you. I felt anger rise, then fade. I am not yelling, I said. Do you notice that? She nodded. I am not begging either. She reached for my arm. Please do not make this bigger than it is. It is already big, I replied. We stood there in silence. What do you want me to do? She asked. Tell me the truth, I said. She whispered. I crossed a line. That was enough. I walked back to the room alone. My hands shook, but my mind felt clear. I picked up my phone and called Thomas. You awake? I asked. For you always. What is wrong? I sat on the bed. I think my life just cracked open. Talk to me. She betrayed me, I said. Thomas did not rush me. He let me breathe. What are you going to do? He asked. I stared at the floor. I want to destroy everything. That is normal, he said. But what do you respect yourself for? Walking away, I said quietly. Then do that. The call grounded me. When I hung up, I felt steady. Laura came in later. Are you leaving? She asked. Yes. You were just going to walk away? I am choosing myself. Her face tightened. After everything we planned? Plans change, I said. Values should not. She sat down. Can we fix this? I shook my head. Not like this. I packed slowly. Each item felt lighter than the last. You are being cold, she said. No, I replied. I am being clear. At the door, she whispered. I did not mean for it to go this far. Neither did I said. I left without raising my voice. Outside, the air felt different. Pain sat heavy in my chest, but pride stood beside it. I did not win. I did not lose. I chose. As I walked away, I understood something important. Revenge would keep me tied to them. Silence set me free. I carried hurt with me, but also control. For the first time in days, I felt like myself again. I left before sunrise with one bag and no explanations. At the front desk, the clerk asked, checking out early? Yes, I said. Everything okay? It will be. On the ride home, my phone stayed quiet. I did not reach out to anyone. Silence felt heavy, but it also felt clean. When I unlocked my apartment, the space felt unfamiliar. I sat on the couch and said out loud, you are safe here. No one answered, and that was fine. The next morning, Emily called. You are home, she said. Yes. Are you okay? I am breathing. She paused. I am proud of you. We met for coffee later. You look tired, she said. I feel lighter. She smiled sadly. You always try to save everyone. I forgot to save myself, I replied. Days passed quietly. I went to work. I cooked simple meals. I cleaned without rushing. How are you holding up? A coworker asked. One day at a time, I said. Emily stopped by one evening. They are talking, she said carefully. Who? The family. Laura had to explain things. I nodded. Ryan too, she added. People are distant. I felt no joy hearing that. Only calm. I did not want punishment, I said. You got truth instead, Emily replied. That night, my phone buzzed. A message from Laura appeared. Can we talk? Not now, I replied. The next day, my aunt called. We miss you, she said. I miss you too. There are questions, she added. I am sure there are. You did nothing wrong, she said firmly. I thanked her and ended the call. Ryan tried next. We need to clear the air, he said. I am not ready, I replied. I messed up. I know. I hung up before anger could rise. Emily sat with me that evening. You are handling this well, she said. I am handling it quietly. That is strength, she replied. At work, I focused on tasks I had ignored for months. You seem more present, my manager said. I am learning, I replied. Weeks passed. Conversations reached me without effort. Laura struggled with questions. Ryan stopped showing up to family events. Do you feel better knowing that? Emily asked. I feel peaceful knowing I did not cause it, I said. One night, I stood by my window and spoke softly. You survived, I told myself. Laura called again. I miss you, she said. I believe you. Can we meet? I am not ready. Her voice cracked. I regret everything. I hope you learn from it, I said. After the call, my hands shook, then steadied. Emily hugged me later. You are different, she said. I am quieter. You are stronger. I started running in the mornings. I cooked meals instead of ordering food. I slept without fear. You look healthier, Emily said one day. I feel honest, I replied. Ryan sent one last message. I lost everyone. I typed, actions matter, then deleted it. I sent nothing. Silence did not make me cruel. It made me clear. At a family dinner weeks later, Margaret squeezed my hand. We see you, she said. I nodded. No one asked me to explain. No one pushed me to forgive. The truth had moved on its own. That night, I lay in bed and listened to my breath. My inner voice no longer shouted. It spoke calmly. You chose yourself, it said. I did not celebrate their regret. I did not chase justice. I let time do what it always does. It revealed character. I learned that dignity does not need an audience. Strength does not need noise. I rebuilt my life in small, quiet steps. Each one mattered. As sleep came, I felt something steady settle inside me. Not happiness, not anger, just peace. And for the first time since the trip began, that was enough. Laura asked to meet at a quiet cafe near my place. Thank you for coming, she said when I sat down. I nodded. I am here to listen. She looked nervous. I hurt you, she said. Yes, I replied. I never meant for things to turn out this way. Intent does not change impact. She swallowed. I lost you because I was confused. I did not interrupt. I think about it every day, she continued. I believe you. She leaned forward. Do you miss me? I took a breath. I miss who I thought we were. Her eyes filled with tears. Can we try again? No, I said calmly. That word surprised both of us. You are different, she said. I learned to stop abandoning myself. She wiped her face. I wish I could go back. I stood up. Regret does not build a future. Outside, my phone rang. Ryan's name appeared. I answered. We need to talk, he said. I can listen, I replied. We met at a park bench. I ruined everything, he said. You crossed a line, I replied. I lost the family, he said. No one trusts me. I watched him closely. I never wanted this, he added. I know. I thought you would understand, he said. I did understand, I replied. That is why it hurt. He looked down. I was selfish. Yes. I hate myself for it. That is something you have to live with. He waited for anger. I gave him none. Do you forgive me? He asked. I released you, I said. Forgiveness takes time. He nodded slowly. I deserve this. I stood up. Learn from it. That night, Emily came over. You okay? She asked. I feel finished, I replied. Finished or empty? Finished with questions. She smiled. That is growth. Later, Laura sent a message. I see you clearly now. I typed back. I hope you see yourself too. I did not wait for a reply. Days passed. I felt steady. You handled that well, Emily said during dinner. I did not need to win, I replied. At work, my focus sharpened. You seem lighter, my manager said. I am not carrying what is not mine. Ryan sent one last message. I am sorry for everything. I read it once and put my phone down. I realized something important. I no longer needed explanations. I had already built my truth. When Laura crossed my mind, there was no anger, just distance. I loved you, I said quietly to myself. That was real. But love without respect fades. One evening, I walked past the cafe where we met. I did not stop. You look peaceful, Emily said later. I am. The regret in their voices no longer pulled me back. It stayed with them. I moved forward. I did not raise my voice. I did not shame anyone. I simply stood still while they faced what followed their choices. That was the real shift. Power did not come from control. It came from calm. I slept deeply that night. No questions chased me. No answers were needed. I had closure not because they apologized, but because I respected myself enough to stop asking for more. I stood at the jewelry counter and placed the ring on the glass. I am returning this, I said. The clerk looked up. Are you sure? Yes, I replied. As I signed the paper, my hand felt steady. When I stepped outside, the air felt lighter. You did it, I told myself. Emily called as I walked. Where are you? She asked. Taking care of something important. Are you okay? I am finished with that chapter. We met later at a small diner. You look calm, she said. I feel honest. That took courage, she replied. At home, I packed a small bag. Going somewhere? Emily asked. Just a few days alone. You deserve that. Before leaving, my aunt called. We are planning a family dinner next week, she said. I appreciate the invite. I might come later. Take your time, she said gently. I drove out of the city with music low. You are really doing this, I said to myself. At a quiet beach town, I checked into a modest place. First time here? The clerk asked. Yes. Enjoy the peace. That night, I sat by the water alone. You survived, I whispered. Laura crossed my mind, but the pain felt distant. You mattered to me, I said softly. That truth can stay without hurting me. The next morning, I walked early. You look relaxed, a passerby said. I am learning, I replied. Emily texted later. Mom says the family is healing. I am glad. You do not have to rush back. I know. I thought about trust. Trust begins with boundaries, I said quietly. When I returned home days later, my apartment felt right. Welcome back, Emily said when she visited. It feels good to be here. She looked around. You changed nothing. I changed myself. That evening, I received one final message from Laura. I hope you find happiness. I replied, I already am. I did not wait for anything else. At work, I spoke with confidence. You seem grounded, my manager said. I know what I want now. Weeks passed. Life settled. You smile more, Emily said. I stopped doubting my worth. At a family gathering later, I stayed briefly. We missed you, Margaret said. I needed space, I replied. We understand. Ryan was not there. I did not ask. When I left early, Emily hugged me. You are doing this right, she said. I am doing it my way. That night, I sat alone with a cup of tea. You can love without losing yourself, I told my reflection. Pain still existed, but it no longer led. I choose who I allow close, I said. I remembered the man who planned a vacation to save everything. He meant well, I said gently. I also saw the man I became. Stronger, quieter, clear. As I turned off the light, my inner voice spoke calmly. You did not break. You adapted. I closed my eyes without fear. I had survived betrayal without becoming bitter. I learned that peace comes from self-respect, not approval. I walked forward without looking back, carrying lessons instead of wounds. For the first time in a long while, I trusted myself completely.